What's going on, guys? So first thing first, before we get into anything, I had some camera issues, and right now the camera that I've been using is actually broken. So I'm filming on the iPhone for this video, and just want to let you know, so if the quality in video or audio is a little bit off, that's the reason. Hopefully my camera's fixed soon, and we'll get back to using that. So if you saw the title of this video, it's about how to track macros while you're eating out. And the reason I'm making this video topic, I have discussed this plenty of times, but someone asked me on Instagram to make a video about this. So like I always say, if you have any suggestions, anything you want to see, send me a message, leave a comment, and I will address that. So that's what I'm going to talk about here later on in the video. But for now, I do apologize. The last couple of videos, the lifting footage was kept to a minimum because I was deloading. So today I'm day one back after my deload. It's squat day. So let's start this video off with some lifting footage, and I'll get to the topic of the video later on. Let's go. What's going on, everyone? Welcome to the first workout back after the deload. I'm actually recording this voiceover the day after this workout, so as I'm sitting here, my legs are actually extremely sore, which does frequently happen after a deload, but that's expected. This week I'll get sore, and then after that it'll be back to normal. So here what you're watching, since it's the first week back on 531, this is the fives week, meaning I do a set of 5, an AMRAP set. And then what I've been doing is I go back to my second set, which where I did here 300 pounds for 5 reps. But rather than repeat the 5 reps, I take the amount of reps that I got from the AMRAP set here, and I do that for those 2 sets. So here on my AMRAP set, I do 340 pounds. I end up getting 7 reps. And then rather than just go back to 300 and repeat those 5 reps, I do those same 7 reps. So it's the kind of like auto-regulation, I guess you could call it. Those 2 sets of 300 for 7, they're obviously not going to beat to failure, but they are more challenging than if I only did the 5 reps. So that's something I've been experimenting with, something that I like doing, and I'll continue doing for at least a little bit of time. But anyway, in this video, what I wanted to talk a little bit about is tracking your workouts. Now, a lot of you guys might track your macros, but for some reason, tracking workouts, writing stuff down, people just don't seem to really do that. And I have to admit, for the longest time, I did not write anything down because I thought I had a good memory and then I could remember what I did. And I mean, for the most part, you are going to remember what you did on a main lift week to week, but you're not going to remember what you did on those main lifts months or even years ago. And you're not going to remember what you did on a specific isolation exercise every week. I mean, I can't tell you how many times I came to the gym and thought I knew exactly what I did on like stiff leg deadlifts for this week, only to realize I had no idea. So write it down. It doesn't take any extra time. What I do is I carry around a book and I write everything down during my workout. And if I forget, I'll write it after, but I try to write it down during my workout. And the reason I like doing that is because it's nice to look back in the future or even the next week just to see how many reps you got with a certain amount of weight, to see if you're making progress. Because if you don't write it down, you can't see if you're making progress. And if you can't see if you're making progress, how do you really know if the routine you're on is working? How do you know if you need to make a change? The answer is you really don't. So write it down. You see that book while I'm doing these Romanian deadlifts, that blue book next to my shoes on the platform. That's the book. I've been writing it down. And it's kind of funny because everything else, I really hate paper. I type everything. I keep all files like in a PDF on my computer, or I keep it in a note on my phone. But for some reason, with writing my workouts down, that's the one thing I don't use an app. I just really haven't found a good one, but I don't use an app. I don't write it on my phone. I write everything down. And I like that because I have a drawer at home where I can one day in like 40 years go back and see all my workouts, see what I did on specific dates. And if it was on a phone or on my computer, I probably would lose it. So there's something nice about having those books to look back at and see where you came from. So that's my recommendation for you guys. Definitely track your workouts, track your macros too, but track your workouts so you know where you're coming from. You know if you're making progress. You know if you need to make any changes that you won't really know unless you're writing stuff down. But the workout footage here is coming to an end. So stay tuned for the rest of the video where I'm going to go over how you should track or how to track your macros when eating out. If you're enjoying the video, please hit that thumbs up button and subscribe if you haven't, and thanks for watching. So let's address the title of the video, which is how to track your macros when you're eating out. So typically, I put this into two categories. The first category is easier, the second category is a bit more difficult. The first category is tracking your macros at places that have nutrition information available. And then the second category is tracking your macros at restaurants that do not necessarily have any nutrition information available whatsoever. So obviously if they list nutrition information, you at least have something to go on. I believe, I don't remember exactly what it is, but I think if you're a restaurant that has something like 10 or more locations, you're required to have nutrition information. So the places that obviously have those macros available, fast food places like Subway, Chick-fil-A, Chipotle, Moe's, so all those places, they're going to have nutrition information. But then you go to like a local place that isn't a chain, and that's where it gets a little bit more difficult. So let's start with the first category, which is easier, which is the places that already have nutrition information listed. So just because you have it listed on the website, that does not necessarily mean where you're ordering is going to have 100% accuracy. How many times have you gone to Chipotle and you order the exact same burrito, but the burrito was significantly smaller or larger than the previous time? Someone different is making it, you don't know what mood they're going to be in, and you never know what you're going to get. So just because it's listed does not necessarily mean it's 100% accurate. I do find like places like Subway seem to be more accurate, where they peel off the meat like it's a wad of $100 bills, and they just hand you that nasty turkey meat. They're a little more accurate. So is like Chick-fil-A, because the portion sizes are more accurate. You really run into more difficulty when you get to like Moe's, when you get to Chipotle, where you're ordering different ingredients and you're relying on different people each time to make it, because they're not preset portions, they're doing it on the spot. If you really want to be careful, you could try to order things without ingredients high in fat, because when you order like avocado with guacamole, for example, sour cream, just a little bit more than the serving size or a little bit less has a pretty dramatic increase or decrease in the amount of calories. Whereas if they add extra rice, it's not that much. If they add a little bit more chicken, it's not that many more calories. But stuff with fat, cheese is another example. Those could add a lot more calories just with a slight increase or decrease in the ingredient. So now I'll actually show you an example. Paul and I are headed to Blaze Pizza later today, and I'm going to show you what I do. Blaze fits into category number 1, which is a place that has preset macros available online. However, like Chipotle, like Moe's, the ingredients vary and there is more variation because you're always relying on somebody else to make it for you. So let me show you what I do. So here is the Blaze Nutrition Calculator online. It looks very similar to the other ones like Chipotle. A lot of places have this. So basically select menu, category pizza, item. I am going to do the build your own, wherever that is. I can't find it. Build your own. And then for dough, they have several options. I just do classic. For sauce, I add white sauce. Cheese, I'm going to use shredded mozzarella. Meats, I'm going to add grilled chicken. Veggies, I like to do banana peppers. Red onions. Saute, we'll do spinach. And finishes, oh, there's the arugula. And also barbecue sauce drizzle. Here it shows you the entire thing, but this is for one slice. So if you want to change it to the whole thing, it's 6 slices, so that's it. It gives you the macros right there: 26 fat, 97 carbs, 38 protein. Then if you want to go, I already did this, but if I go to my Fitness Pal, I have it on my phone, but you could go on the website as well. If you check out, you can always follow me on my Fitness Pal, by the way, if you're interested. Go to food, and here you see this meal right here. I have Blaze custom pizza, 790 calories, the fat, the carbs, the protein, it's right there. So when we actually go, I'll show you guys what I got, but that's how I do it for a place like Blaze. Like I said before, it's not 100% accurate, especially when you have a lot of cheese factored in. So if you're cutting, what you could do is factor in some error and leave some fat and carbs in your macros for the day. So I do that as well. Also because I go for froyo after, so that's not always 100% accurate, so I like to do that there. Alright, so going on to the second category is places that do not have any nutrition information available whatsoever. And there's two approaches that you could take here. The first approach is you can find a place that has a dish similar to the one that you're ordering, and you can look on MyFitnessPal and just go with that. For example, you go to like some regular Italian place, you order chicken parmesan, maybe their macros aren't listed for that place, but you can go on find maybe Olive Garden or another Italian place that has the same dish. Obviously the size is going to be different, but it'll be closer than not tracking it at all. Just be smart, look at the macros, see if it makes sense. If it just does not make sense to you, it's probably not accurate. If it seems to make sense, you can go with it. The second approach you can take, which is the one I personally use, which only really works if you're more familiar and you have more experience tracking macros. What I do is I break up the ingredients of the dish that I'm ordering and I add it separately. So let's use the chicken parmesan for example. What do you have here? You have chicken with breading on it, you have cheese, sauce, and then pasta, whatever, and then maybe some oils that go into all of that. So what I would do is, based on years and years of weighing my food, I know roughly what like 6 ounces of chicken looks like. I know what the cheese looks like. I know how much like cup of rice. I know what sauce, a cup of sauce, all that stuff. I have a good idea in my head what those look like. So I could look at the dish and then say, okay, looks like about 6 ounces of chicken. I'm gonna add 6 ounces of chicken. This looks like it's roughly like 60 grams of sauce. I'll add some sauce. And I'll do that with the cheese and everything else. And that works for any dish. If I'm ordering like a chicken rice dish with beans, I do that with all that as well. However, if you are not used to tracking your macros, if you don't weigh your food at home and you have no idea what these portions are, you're probably better off just doing the first option and finding a similar dish, because that might be more accurate than just completely randomly guessing. But if you're like me and you already have a good idea in your head of what these amounts of food should look like, you can go ahead and add that. Keep in mind, you can't really guess on oils and butters and stuff. That's just stuff that I always add extra fat just to be safe, because when you're eating chicken, you know it's marinated in something, but you don't know what. When you're eating like vegetables, sometimes you could notice some oil or butter in it. So I always just add extra fat on top of whatever I think the macros should be. So I mean, overall, when you're tracking macros eating out, it's not going to be 100% accurate. It can't be. It's not even 100% accurate when you're making all your food yourself, but it is a lot closer. What you should take away from this is, if you're cutting for like a show or something, you probably don't really want to eat out too often, especially as you get closer to the show. But if you're just a regular person trying to track their macros and try to live a healthier life, that's what you have to do. You can't really go too crazy about it. You don't want to limit yourself and never eat out because you're scared that you can't track it. So track it the best you can. If you're a little off, who cares? You'll get better at it over time. The more you do it, the easier it gets to incorporate, and it doesn't even feel like work. It's just natural to you. So that's how it feels to me. Hope you enjoyed that little explanation. Any comments or questions, feel free to leave a comment below. Send me a message on Instagram, send me an email, whatever is easiest for you. And now I'll see you at Blaze so you can see the food that I showed you earlier in the nutrition calculator. And I'm excited to eat that. Alright guys, so that's going to wrap up the video. I didn't film too much at Blaze because I realized the video was already getting a little bit long since I talked a lot going over the macros. So if you liked the video, please do me a favor, hit that thumbs up. It really does help me more than you realize. Subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll talk to you in the next video.